Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Saturday, October 11th, 2025. This is day 736. Updates on the current ceasefire agreement. May it be permanent in Gaza. Negotiations have been taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh. There was just news that 3 Qatari diplomats were killed in a car crash in Sharm el-Sheikh. 2 security sources told Reuters. This is where the negotiations regarding an agreement to the end of the war are taking place. 2 Egyptian security sources reported this to Reuters. 2 diplomats were also wounded. It's unclear if the diplomats were members of Qatar's negotiating team, which along with Egyptian officials in Sharm el-Sheikh helped yield earlier this week the agreement between Israel and Hamas on implementation of the first phase of President Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza. The Egyptian city Sharm el-Sheikh is set to host Monday's global summit aimed at finalizing the agreement to officially end the war and what most experts are calling genocide in Gaza. Egypt is set to convene those leaders, global leaders, including President Trump in Sharm el-Sheikh. So this is supposed to start on Monday. An Egyptian presidential spokesperson announced this. The summit is said that it's going to be attended by 20 international leaders, including not only President Trump, but the UK Prime Minister Starmer is also scheduled to attend. The focus is on the first phase. That we're now in that 72-hour period since Israel and Hamas agreed, where the hostages are supposed to be released in exchange for prisoners. Britain has called this a historic turning point after 2 years of war. The British leader Starmer said he will pay tribute to the role that President Trump has played and to the diplomatic efforts of Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey in brokering this deal. He's expected to call for continued international support and coordination on the implementation of the next phase, which includes deploying a ceasefire monitoring mission and establishing a transitional governance in Gaza. Starmer will reiterate Britain's steadfast support to help secure the ceasefire and deliver humanitarian aid. A Palestinian detainee from Gaza is set to be released as a part of the ceasefire deal, assaulted a prison guard at Ketziot prison, according to Israeli news in the south of Israel. And Hamas's disarmament, which is a key condition of the 20-point plan that Trump has proposed as a part of the ceasefire and hostage deal, a Hamas official reportedly told the Associated Press it's out of the question. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, IDF Chief of Staff Ayel Zamir, and the U.S. Central Command Chief Brad Cooper visited an IDF base in Gaza to confirm whether or not the IDF has withdrawn thus far as planned. So many remaining issues are still yet to be solved. So as of what's been publicly reported, the main 3 issues, there's still not agreement on the main 3 issues. One, whether or not Hamas will disarm. Hamas officials just said no. That's one of the key conditions Israel requires. The location geographically and the timing of a complete withdrawal from the Gaza Strip by Israel. There's questions about how that will be implemented. And 3, a lack of agreement about the post-war governance in Gaza. Who will govern the Gaza Strip? It's supposed to be an international body as a transition until the Palestinian Authority meets certain conditions. In fact, I heard on NPR today that Netanyahu said, if there are remaining threats in Gaza after the return of hostages, the bombing and war will begin again. Nonetheless, Hamas officials told the Associated Press that Gaza hostages will be released. That will begin Monday morning. The hostage coordinator also told families in Israel that after the 72-hour began, Hirsch is the one communicating with the hostage families. He said in a message to families that within the 72-hour framework, the living hostages will be handed over to us, and we expect the remains of hostages also to be returned. So that's set to happen Monday. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff had a speech that was interrupted by prolonged boos after he mentioned Prime Minister Netanyahu. This was in a Tel Aviv rally that was attended by 400,000 demonstrators, estimated. In Gaza, apparently bombs have stopped, hopefully permanently. The reports are that 500,000 Palestinians are returning to the north from the south. You can watch some videos and pictures of these hordes of people returning to Gaza City to see what little remains there. 9,500 people are still reported to be missing in and throughout the Gaza Strip. Gazan security sources told Saudi News that about 5,000 police officers have been deployed on main routes around aid distribution centers, at markets in Gaza City, in central Gaza Strip and in Han Yunis, local authorities across the Strip are beginning to take assessments about the destruction. The mayor of Han Yunis said 85% of the municipality, the areas including houses, water lines, and infrastructure, has been completely destroyed. A 31-year-old Israeli army reservist died after being severely wounded in an IDF grenade explosion in the Gaza Strip last week. And in Israel, one of the survivors of the Nova Festival massacre, whose partner was killed that day on October 7th, died by suicide on Friday. Meanwhile, international advocates have continued to rally for the freedom of Palestine. Some 14,000 people at a pro-Palestinian demonstration in Berlin. Many waved flags, with police saying 30 people were arrested. Some cited anti-Semitic symbols. Police said unconstitutional symbols were displayed. There were violations of association law, apparently physical assaults. Speakers at the demonstration portrayed Israel as cold-blooded murderer and criticized German politics for supplying weapons to Israel. Israel bombs, Germany funds. Iran has dismissed the idea that Trump suggested of whether or not Iran might consider joining the Abraham Accords. They said it was wishful thinking. Last month, Trump said, who knows, maybe even Iran can get in there, referring to the Abraham Accords. Iran will never recognize an occupied regime that has committed genocide and killed children, Foreign Minister Arachi said on state television in Iran. Today, Churches for Middle East Peace has launched an effort called Team CMEP. You've heard I've been training for an Ironman. I was supposed to compete in September and I could not for health reasons. My goal is to raise $1,000 for every mile, $140.6 thousand, so $140,600. We're well on our way in terms of those efforts, but we're inviting people to join in. I'm hoping to compete in an Ironman in the spring if my health will allow, but we're inviting others. Consider running a 5K, a 10K, consider climbing a mountain, consider, doing something at your local gym. Schedule an event, determine an amount of money you'd be willing to raise alongside of us. I'm Dr. Ben Norquist. I ran 3.5 miles with him today. He's running the Chicago Marathon tomorrow, and we launched Team CMEP here in Illinois. We'd love to have your support, so consider joining us in that. You can go to our website, team-CMEP, cmep.org. You can email us at info@cmep.org as well. Reach out to us on social media. So that's an update from today, Saturday, October 11th, 2025. As we look towards early next week, holding on to hope that hostages could be released, prisoners set free, and then we'll see what happens next. May the peace hold. We remain cautiously hopeful. May God go before us in the name of Christ. Amen.